Okay, so these types of videos I don't normally make, but I feel like I really want to talk about Metroid Dread. What's up, guys? Welcome back and welcome in for the first time. If you would do me a favor, jump down in the description of this video and click the link to our podcast channel. We record a podcast every Thursday night, either on mine or Jeeb's Twitch. All the links for all that stuff is down below, along with the link where you can find all of our podcasts on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. It'll all be down there. All right, this is gonna be a quick video, but I did just want to talk about this game because, man, I am absolutely having a blast with this game. I have not really dove into a Metroid game before. I've played Super Metroid, and I've not even played a lot of that. I would say I've played maybe 2 hours of Super Metroid. That is literally the only Metroid I've ever played. Metroid Dread has me absolutely hooked. I have been streaming pretty much every bit of my gameplay, which is what you're gonna be seeing here. All this is pulled directly from Twitch. Like I said, there's a link down below if you guys wanna come join us. We will be streaming the rest of the game over there throughout this week, maybe next, depending on how long it takes, but the link's down below. Now, I'm gonna talk about some stuff in this video, and I'm going to try to not get into any spoilers. Now, I'm gonna give vague details about a few things, nothing that is going to give away really anything, and the only footage I'm showing is from the first part of the game. So if you're afraid of any spoilers at all, these will be extremely light, very vague. Just for an example, like the different types of areas that I've seen so far. Nothing more than that. If you don't even want to hear that, you should probably just go now. I'll give you a second. All right, if you're still here, that's where we're just gonna start. I wanna say I'm about 4 hours into the game, and I have 4 of the areas unlocked that you can open. There's more than that, obviously. I have a long way to go, but I have about 4 open, and just the different areas that you go to, like, and it's not even just the areas, like one is like this, one is like that, one is like this. Inside of these areas, there are different areas, like there's lava areas that you can't go into. If you go in, you pretty much automatically die. Now, eventually, obviously in the game, you're gonna be able to go in there at some point, but when you start out, you can't go in there. So a lot of this stuff is just locked away. You can't even get to that part. So there's that. That's great. Just the different types of areas. There's some that are like caves. There's some that are sort of like filled with water that I've seen. Like I said, there's lava areas. Some of them are like industrial areas where there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. Like, there's a lot of different stuff to look at, and it all looks, let's go back to that. It all looks absolutely fantastic. The art style in this game is just, it's so good. I just think the overall look of what they have done with this game, it is top notch. It's polished. It's just really polished. And it's got a small issue. Oh, one other thing before we even go to that, the music. I'm really digging the music. I love just about everything I've heard as far as the music goes. The sound design in general is it's all, I mean, I don't really have any other word to say about it except it's just really polished. Everything is polished, but it does have one problem. I am experiencing frame rate issues. I don't know if maybe it's because I'm streaming it or what's going, I don't think that's what it is. I'm seeing frame rate issues. It's not everywhere. It's only in certain parts, in certain areas, but it's definitely happening. I mean, that does suck a little bit, but it's not really taking that much away from my overall experience because the game is just that good. Now, as you guys know, I really love Zelda, and Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity had massive frame rate issues, but I love Zelda and I wanted that story, so I looked the other way. I tried to just ignore the frame rate issues. This is nowhere near that. Nowhere even near that. These are slight frame rate issues here and there. It's nothing crazy, but they are happening. I figured I'd mention it. But I would say probably my favorite thing about this game is it's the controls. The way that you move Samus around the screen is just, it is buttery smooth. It is crazy how smooth it is, especially once you start to get a grasp on the controls, because I think that's the hardest part. There's a whole lot going on here. I mean, you are literally using, every single button does something, and sometimes you have to use them in combinations to get her to, stop and, aim, shoot a missile, not just a regular blast. There's so much going on. It's absolutely insane. It's honestly really hard to get used to at first, but once you do, she slides under things. And I mean, this is probably not a spoiler to anybody if you've ever played a Metroid game, But you know, she rolls into a ball. Just the way that you bounce off a wall and, you know, climb up on something. It's just every little thing about it is so smooth. I haven't really watched anybody play this game. I've been playing it myself. I haven't watched back any of the streams. I haven't watched anybody really play this game at all, but I can imagine that not only is this game clearly very fun to play, I would imagine this game's probably fun to watch just because of how good it looks and how fluid everything it's amazing. So the controls are fantastic. The areas are really cool. I mean, the art style's great. There's a lot of different enemies. You know, the further you get, obviously you're gonna find new stuff. You have to figure out new ways to beat these things. But as far as the big bads go, the Emmys, these things, I gotta say, they looked pretty scary from the trailers that we saw. They looked like, you know, like they would mess you up pretty bad, but these things are crazy. And the further and further you get in the game, the harder they get, the faster they get, the more, it's like you can't get away from, especially at first. When you don't have any other help at all, you can't not be found by them as soon as you get into those areas. And that's another thing, you can kind of get away from them if you can get to one of those doors. They are kind of confined to these big areas of the map, but they are pretty big areas, and if you get caught by one, which you will, and you have to run, you better be pretty good with the controls, because if you mess up and they catch you, you can get away. It's almost impossible. I've done it twice. I've done it twice in about 4 hours of playing, because the way it is, you can press the button to try to you know, push them off or stun them, but it's not something you can time. It's random. So every single time it happens, it's not like, oh, there it is, press the button. It's literally random. So once you're caught by them, that's pretty much it. They're gonna start you back outside the door. But these things, I mean, it is absolutely terrifying running from these things. The music that starts playing, the intensity just builds. It is really intense. They really do a great job with not only the atmosphere while that's happening, just overall in the game. And like I said, I'm not that far. I have about 4 areas opened up. I've seen, I think, 3 of the Emmys, maybe more than that, I can't remember. But I have fought 2 bosses. I'm not gonna give you any details about who they are or what they are, but I can tell you this, the cutscenes when you come into the boss areas, and even in between, like, you know, when you get to the next stage of the boss fight, absolutely epic. The boss fight's insanely well done. I absolutely love fighting these bosses. And another thing I like about this game is it is very difficult. This is not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. The first boss fight took me 6 or 7 times to beat. The second one I think took me 9, maybe 10. It's not an easy game, especially when you're trying to, like I said, balance all the controls that are going on and, you know, dodge everything that's being thrown at you this entire. It's just nuts. This video is not gonna be that long, guys. I felt like I really needed to talk about this. I'm probably not gonna do a full review because, you know, I'm kind of taking my time with the game. If I was gonna do a full review, I probably should have taken this entire weekend and just played all the way through it, done a full review here. But I am really enjoying this game so far. If you are on the fence about getting it, I can tell you right now, 4 hours in, if you like Metroidvania style games, I mean, there's a reason this genre is named what it is. Nintendo have absolutely delivered on this game. It's got frame rate issues. Other than that, it's excellent. I'm having a great time with it. Like I said, I am streaming it over at twitch.tv/dripmedia if you want to join us. We'll probably be over there tonight, most nights this week. So get over there, make sure you guys are following me. And with all that, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. I really enjoying this game. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like, make sure you are subscribed. We'll see you in the next one.